Good evening, everyone. And today we will be discussing about Piaget's cognitive development theory versus Vygotsky's sociocultural theory, a comparative study of methodologies, core tenets, and educational implications.
Good evening, everyone. I am Marlene B. Cañado, first year from BEd 1B. So, our title for our research is all about Piaget's cognitive developmental theory versus Vygotsky's sociocultural theory, a comparative study of methodologies, core tenets, and educational implications.
So for the table of contents, we have the research titles, the abstract, the research gaps, the objectives, methodologies, conclusion, and insights and recommendation.
Our research title first, Lev Vygotsky, Mind and Society, the development of higher psychological processes. Second, Jean Piaget, the psychology of the child. And for our research abstract, this seminal work lay out Lev Vygotsky's sociocultural theory of development, arguing that higher psychological processes such as voluntary attention, logical memory, and conceptual thinking are fundamentally social in origin and are mediated by cultural tools and signs, with language being the most critical. Vygotsky asserts that development moved from the social plane to the individual plane. Functions first appear inter-psychologically, means between people and social interaction, and then intra-psychologically within the child. The central concept of zone of proximal development, or ZPD, which define the difference between what a child can achieve independently and what they can achieve with the guidance of more skilled person. Example, a teacher or a peer. This zone, Vygotsky argues, in where instructions should be focused to drive optimal development, emphasizing that learning precedes and shapes development. And this collaborative volume presents a systematic and accessible overview of Jean Piaget's comprehensive theory of cognitive development. The central tenets asserts that children functions as active constructions of knowledge, processing through a universal and variant sequence of four major developmental stages. First, sensomotor. Second, pre-operational. Third, concrete operational. And last is formal operational. And for our research gap, Jean Piaget, the psychological of the child. Sampling and bias. Utilize small, non-representative sample, often switch children, which limits the claimed university of the stages. Methodology. The clinical interview method over realized or verbal explanation, potentially underestimating the true cognitive abilities of a younger children. Tasks were often artificial, and studies shows that when simplified, children demonstrate abilities at younger age that Piaget predicted. The theory of criticized for representing development as a series of fixed, discrete stage rather than a more continuous processes. And for Lev Vygotsky, Mind and Society, the development of higher psychological processes. The zone of proximal development, or ZPD, is theoretically emphasizes the lack of clear, objective methods for measurement and qualification. The theory does not provide mechanistic details on how the more knowledgeable others, or MEOS, assistance is internally transformed into the learner's independent skill. Effective individualized implementation of ZPD through scaffolding. It's difficult to execute in resource limited environment or large classroom. The difficulty in measuring the ZPD hinder its integration into standardized educational policies that prioritize quantifiable metrics. And for our objectives, Lev Vygotsky Mind and Society, the development of higher psychological processes. To define the foundational objectives, distinct methodologies, and seminal findings of Lev Vygotsky sociocultural theory. To specialize focused on zone of proximal development or ZPD and the role of cultural tools and language in driving development. Vygotsky's central objective was to achieve a synthesis of psychological views by establishing a comprehensive sociocultural theory that linked individual functions to the historical changes in society and material life. He sought to explain the transformation of elementary psychological processes into complex higher psychological functions.
So, in Piaget's methodology, Piaget utilizes the clinical method, which is adapted from psychopathological diagnostic interviews, in which it contains a flexible one-on-one discussion or interview with the subject. And with the dialogues, it probes the child's problem-solving processes by adapting questions to their evolving hypothesis and reasoning, meaning that Piaget uses a series of questions or in an interview in order to evaluate the child's problem-solving process or their evolving hypothesis and reasoning. This qualitative approach prioritizes understanding the mechanism of thoughts over evaluating correct answers, yielding rich insights into knowledge construction. So, meaning that using this research, they are able to prioritize how a child would understand, or perhaps how would a child process their thoughts, instead of evaluating what are the correct answers that they provided. However, this study also contains its limitations, with its reliance on subject interpretation and unstructured task, researchers' bias, reduced interrogator reliability, and drew criticisms for overly verbal explanation and artificial experimental context. So, meaning that the study itself or the methodology itself had drew criticisms from various researchers already. It is because they risk the researcher bias, which is the sampling or the culture bias, in which they used small non-representative Swiss children, which I think could potentially lead to a few criticisms, in which it could also limit the validity and the reliability of the paper itself. Next, we have Vygotsky. So in Vygotsky, he uses developmental and systematic method grounded in dialectical and historical materialism, emphasize studying psychological phenomena as dynamic processes undergoing qualitative transformation. So again, during in Piaget, he only studies about how a child could have a understanding of the mechanisms of thought, or perhaps how a child could efficiently use his or her hypothesis and reasoning. However, in Vygotsky, he uses almost a step-by-step process in order to, of course, in order to, of course, understand how the world and how the mental capacity of a child will do. His approach required reconstructing the origins and evolutions of behavior and consciousness, tracing shifts from basic reflex to complex cultural behaviors to bridge the gap between the natural science objectivity and speculative analysis of higher mental functions. So, his approach is that he is required to reconstruct the origins or the evolution of how the subject would potentially act, or what are the cultural behaviors of the subject. And then with his study, he also traces the shifts from or transformation from the basic into a complex cultural behaviors in order of course to gap between the natural science objectivity and the speculative analysis for a higher mental function. Critically, Vygotsky advocated a systematic framework rejecting the isolation of psychological functions such as memory in favor of analyzing evolving interrelationships within the psychological system. So, Vygotsky, of course, advocated his own systematic framework in which he rejected or perhaps he disagreed that a student could only function psychologically. However, in his research, he rejected the isolation of the psychological functions only, and also he had studied the interaction between the psychological system as well as the interrelationships that the subject would have. This historical development methodology prioritizes understanding cognition such as integrated, contextually shaped process rather than static or fragmented phenomena. So in conclusion, this synthesis involves allowing for Piagetian discovery learning or unguided explanatory time to construct foundational schemas, alongside Vygotskian guided instructions, which is the scaffolding, the targeted and collaborative guidance with the ZPD. This blended approach ensures both a solid foundation for independent schema building, which is from Piaget, and the efficient acceleration and maximization of the potential growth through social support, which is from Vygotsky. Furthermore, modern educational technology serve as an advanced cultural tool to facilitate this synthesis. So for the insights, Piaget provided a structural roadmap of what is possible at different ages or stages, supporting discovery learning. His premise is that the development precedes learning. Vygotsky provided a functional context, how cognitive feats are efficiently achieved, supporting guided learning and scaffolding. His premise is that learning drives development. So, Piaget believed that development precedes learning, while Vygotsky believes that learning drives development. We also have optimal synthesis. The most powerful approach to education lies in strategic synthesis of the two models. Effective practice requires blending Piagetian discovery with Vygotskian guided instructions, which is the scaffolding within the ZPD, technology as a mediator. Modern educational technology serves as an advanced cultural tool that facilitates this synthesis, providing environments for both autonomous discovery and social mediation. So for recommendation, refine Piagetian task for universality, develop and standardize nonverbal or culturally neutral assessment for key concepts for rigorously test claims of universal cognitive structures, institutionalized dynamic assessment, DA, adopt DA to resolve the theoretical ambiguity of the ZPD. DA measures the student's capacity for learning when supported, effectively operationalizing and quantifying the ZPD, integrating pedagogical practice recommendations. Adopt blended methodologies strategically sequence learning by first allowing unguided hands-on exploration, the Piagetian discovery, followed by targeted collaborative group work and scaffolding, which is the Vygotskian guided learning. Encourage private speech, recognize and encourage speech talking to oneself as a crucial step in the development of inner speech, higher order self-regulation. Tailor scaffolding based on DA. Use dynamic assessment results to accurately gauge the student's learning potential and calibrate instructions appropriately, ensuring the scaffolding provided is precisely targeted and temporary. So that would be all for our presentation. Thank you so much. I am once again Natea Rindy Cosnaliga, and my partner is Marlene P. Canedo. And that would be all. Thank you for listening.